Hey there. So I want to do a really quick video based on a conversation that I was having this morning, and I wanted to share a little bit with you. And that is to give you something to consider when it comes to self-worth, your personal value, whether or not you're self-sabotaging, self-doubt, all of these things that we've become quite familiar with when it comes to personal development and transformation. And it comes down to a video that I did for the Revolutionary Aromatherapy community here on Facebook. So if you're not already a member, come on over there because I'm talking oils in a way that we've never talked about it before. And in this case, I am breaking them down per constituents. And one of the things I was mentioning was how the brain gets into, it shifts. So when we are exposed to stressors, the brain has to flip a switch in order to get us into that instinctual reaction, the habitual, something that we would consider, it's called habitual control. But the bottom line is that if you are being threatened by anything, if your life is on the line, the ability to move, to navigate quickly, is critical to your survival. So you're not stopping and going, what should I do here? Okay. This is cognitive control. This, I got to get going. You just snap into automatic and get going. That's habitual. That's the way they're labeled in neuroscience. So, but the thing is that we're facing today is the fact that we are exposed to very many things. We have emotional stressors. We have cyclical stressors within our system because stressors are not necessarily bad. They are just a matter of changes that need to occur within the system, sometimes for protection, other times to get to get things to happen. So you've got emotional stressors, you've got cyclical stressors, and then you have environmental stressors. I firmly believe that yes, paying attention to family history matters because beliefs and behaviors are what are passed on from generation to generation. The moment that we recognize that, we gain facility over making changes, making new choices, and regaining that cognitive control because it's the habitual control, that consistency, and that automatic reactions, the automatic limiting beliefs, the way we automatically jump to, oh crap, this isn't going to work. All of the negative thinking, right? That is part of habitual control. That is, and by control, it means it is your instincts trying to maintain, because nature, what it does is it works in a way that it's for the preservation of the species. So when there is a threat, it works to maintain. So that's the control. Okay. Cognitive control is that ability to stop and think and go, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to say? Is this really how I think? And we have that ability to be able to pause. Now, the thing is when we are constantly exposed to an environment that is affecting the way our system is reacting, it's influencing the DNA to send signals to the brain on top of how you've already been wired. See, you are so unique when it comes to the way your system is reacting to the world and life, that it's the reason why customization is critical, because no two epigenomes are the same, which means your cycles are going to be different than anybody else's. What you consume on a daily basis, whether it be what you eat, drink, I want to say breathe, but I won't say breathe because that's part of the environment. But what you eat, you drink, if you're taking medications, if you're taking supplements, if whatever your body care is, okay, all of these are factors that influence the way your system is going to react. Then on top of all of that, you've got the external environment. So it's constantly interfacing with so many different things. It's impossible to go open up a book and go, okay, this oil is good for that. So that's why I say personalization. And in this case, when you start to personalize oils, what you are helping your system do is to begin to regulate in such a way that you can regain cognitive control and begin to disrupt the automatic behaviors. See, self-worth, self-sabotage, self-loathing, value, self-doubt, however you want to label it, all comes back to that habitual thinking. Negative thinking is very habitual. We can look at it and frown upon it and say, oh my gosh, that's so bad for me. I shouldn't be doing that. Or you can look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is protecting me. I mean, we can literally love the fact that, and by love, I mean appreciate. I mean, how can we begin to appreciate that this is your very nature doing what it's wired to do? Okay, the self-doubt is wired to keep you safe. It may, but your life may not be going in the direction that you wanted to. Your relationships may suck. You know, you may have financial issues. You may have health issues. Because the fact is that we're looking every area of our life, we're constantly looking for what's wrong. And then believing that there's something wrong, like with our physical body, that there's something wrong with us. We shouldn't be acting this way. We've got to stop doing this. In fact, on Wednesday, I'm doing a room on Clubhouse and asking, will you give yourself permission to be okay? And this comes into that. Because the fact is that your very nature, the very nature of the way you are wired, is keeping you, yes, it's keeping you, it's keeping you, it's limiting you. Yeah, it's limiting your actions. It's limiting the way what you choose to do. But now that you know that it's a means to keep you safe, but there's really nothing threatening you, that you really are okay, you can, in that moment, begin to pause and regain your cognitive control. Because, again, it's an area of the brain that they're finding under chronic levels of stress, highly reactive. You know, when the brain is highly reactive to stressors, it maintains this habitual control. It keeps you in that vicious cycle. So it really takes an awareness. And that's why the use of oils makes all the difference in the world. It's not just about relieving stress. It's about helping your brain regain cognitive control so that you can begin to make choices differently, so that you can really begin to think, is this what I want to think? Is this really how I think? Is this really what I want to say? But you've got to be willing to put yourself in that position. And I can honestly tell you that not every oil is going to affect everyone in the same way. And so using ones that are specific to you, that enhance the way your brain is responding versus reacting, so that you can really begin to go, wow, oh my gosh, this is for my design. This is designed to keep me safe. And I don't need this right now. I appreciate knowing that this is what my body and my brain can do, but this isn't helping me. This is not serving what I'm here. You know, I would like to experience more. But instead of looking at, oh, I mean, and I only say this because I have gotten into that hamster wheel from so many different coaches and people that I know are coaches that consistently bring up the fact that I devalue myself, or maybe I've made decisions in the past that I was, you know, based on self-worth, that I wasn't worth, you know, I didn't think I was worth it. And I got hung up in that trap. So the problem with that, the reason why that becomes a problem, maybe not for everybody, but it did for me, is the fact that when someone makes these suggestions, it triggers my brain to, well, for one, to find the solution, and for two, to figure out what's wrong with me. And it's a threat, okay? Although nobody was ever doing it to be malicious, it's still perceived in the brain as a threat, because it's a threat to my divinity, my spirit, to my nature. How do I want to say this? It's in contrast to who I know myself to be. I'm going to say that again. When someone comes forward and says, oh, they start pointing out the level of self-doubt, the fact that you may not value yourself, that you question your self-worth, that you're sabotaging yourself. When we start getting into this level of conversation, depending on the way your brain is wired, it could very well trigger another defense mechanism. It's pure and simple. It's a defense mechanism because it's in contrast to who you know yourself to be. And so it holds you in this cycle of distress. Again, it may not even be malicious. It may be very well intentioned, but yet no matter what was delivered from somebody else, your brain is going to interpret the way it's going to interpret. And that said, if it's interpreted as in contrast to who you know yourself to be, it's going to keep you stuck in that cycle of devaluing and wondering and doubting, and it's going to maintain the distress. It's going to maintain that level of stress. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope so. If not, let's start a conversation about this. Comment. I am just really excited about this because to me, it's a breakthrough. And for so many people, that if we just recognize that although we can say they're survival mechanisms, this is nature wired for it's wired to keep you safe. And that for as well-intentioned as many people are when it comes to delivering our kind of holding that mirror up for us about what's going on with us, that unless you are actually including something like an essential oil to help you process that differently, it's going to register in your brain instantly as something that's in contrast to who you really know yourself to be. That's your subconscious. Okay. So when it starts to contrast who you know yourself to be, it creates that next level of distress, even by the most well-meaning people. So I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to experience and hear things in a way that's going to actually move you forward as opposed to getting stuck. So that's why I shared this with you. So again, let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to have a chat with you. And in the meantime, I hope you have an absolutely blessed evening.